Hello everybody, my name is Mark, I'm from Belgium, I'm a whiskey blogger, and today I would like to share my experiences about Whiskey Blender. Whiskyblender.com went online in November 2011, and it was a very innovative idea, so I was very curious, because it is a website that allows you to create your very own whiskey blend. So I went online and I saw a website that was rather professional, and the application to create your blend is very funny and it's very well made. You just click pluses and minuses to add a little bit of one whiskey or another, and then you see the bottle fill up, and once you reach the 700 milliliter milestone, let me put it that way, you can finish the bottle off and you can order it online and it gets shipped to you in just a few days, very well packed, and then it arrives, and I must say it looks absolutely stunning. The bottle shape is just great, but obviously that doesn't say anything about the contents of your whiskey, of course. Now the thing I was wondering about is what kind of whiskies are being used. Truth be told, you can't tell. Online you will find descriptions for the whiskey. They have some funny names like burnt vanilla or a touch of smoke or stuff like that. So you can read the descriptions, but you cannot really tell is this single malt. Is this grain whiskey? You just don't know. Now, I don't mind grain whiskies, mind you. Grain whiskies are good. If they're matured properly, you can find some very good grain whiskey that can hold its own against a good single malt. So that's not the issue. But still, you don't know. Is it single malt whiskey? Is it grain whiskey? I'm not sure. On the other hand, it doesn't say there's some Auchentoshan 12-year-old in there, some Dermul 15, some Ardbeg 10. You just don't know. You get descriptions and you have to find out for yourself. So I started experimenting, which is why I called my first bottle First Experiment. I started experimenting, and this is a screenshot of my experiment. And so you can see I have a lot of burnt pudding in there and a bit of taste of the sea, not too much. A lot of soft and fruity, yes, sure. A touch of spice, but just a tiny bit of smoke on the water, and to top it off, a little bit of banana split. But what does that say about the whiskey? Nothing at all. So you have to give it a try, of course, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try again this First Experiment by Mark Dermul from whiskyblender.com. Funny bottle. Anyway, is it any good? Let's find out. You can see that it's not my first time that I'm trying it. I do not have a drinking problem, not at all. No, I've been sharing it with friends, and that is basically the idea, or at least one of the ideas behind Whiskey Blender, is to create something unique and then share it with friends. Because it is unique, in a way. It's a unique blend that you've composed, that you've created for your friends or for yourselves. The ideal gift, I would say, because then you can put on Dad's 65th birthday by son, and the date that his birthday makes for an ideal gift. But the gist of the story is the whiskey any good? That's what it's about. Because it can look as good as you like, but if the whiskey isn't any good, well, then it's, you know, it's got a beautiful golden sheen on it. Ooh, that's a very soft nose. A lot of vanilla in there. Well, that shouldn't surprise, as my signature malt is burnt pudding. Excuse me, burnt pudding, a lot of that in there. It's very soft on vanilla, but also some oranges and a lot of coconut, so I presume bourbon casks were involved. Sweet malt, a very light trace of smoke, not too much. A bit of silt in there as well, that gives a little edge. It's quite grassy as well. Yeah, spicy. Ginger, I'd say, cinnamon maybe. Well, it is clearly young, but it's certainly agreeable. It's not bad at all. Let's try to taste then. That is very creamy and mouth-coating on the palate. It's got a little bit of more spices than on the nose, and also a little bit more punch, a little bit more body. A bit more fruit as well, primarily, I'd say grapefruit, oranges, some orange zest in there, and again that hint of smoke that gives it an edge. I wouldn't call it complexity. It doesn't have complexity, but it certainly gives it an edge, an extra layer, let me put it that way. It's fairly straightforward, true, it's young, but again, it is far from unpleasant. It is very agreeable actually. and at least there are absolutely no off notes in there. The finish, I'd say, is fairly short, to be true. Yeah, fairly short, but again, not bad. On grapefruit and oak, that's what I'd say. Anyway, it is certainly nicer than the first time that I tried it, which was way back in November or early December when I received it. And I believe when I first tasted it, it was a little bit rough and unbalanced. But I think that has to do with the fact that you create your blend, and the lads at Whisky Blender, they take the amounts from their casks, put it together in the bottle, put a stopper on it, and then ship it to you. So the whiskey hasn't really had time to get to know each other. You know, they haven't really been able to marry. And now that I've given it some time, it is much more balanced, a lot smoother, a lot nicer actually. It has needed some time. So if your whiskey arrives, don't give up on it yet. Go back to it from time to time, and you will find that it is actually good whiskey. And if the whiskey taste is the blend is not to your liking, it's most likely your mistake. Because in my case, I found it to be a little young and unbalanced, a little rough, but I think it has to do with the fact that I was playing online with the gizmo of creating the blend and not really thinking about what blend I was making. So I got a little bit of everything in there, you know. And I think to compose a good blend, I think it is more important to choose one single, one leading whiskey, a signature whiskey in there from one of these, and then go from there and just top it off with a little extras. And you don't have to use every whiskey that's available. You don't. So it's a little bit of trial and error, but it's very good fun. And I think the guys at Whisky Blender have created a unique concept this way that allows you to create a unique gift for your friends, for family, or for yourself. And one thing it certainly does is it makes you stop and think about what the real artists in the industry, the master blenders, what kind of difficulties they are encountering when creating those really well-known and outstanding blends out there. Kudos to them. And we are just whiskey lovers enjoying a fine tipple that we've made ourselves. Slàinte mhath.